Saturday Prime Time, presented by H&R Block. This is the ACC on ESPN. We are at Cameron Indoor Stadium in Durham, North Carolina. No fans, but a very big game. The Duke Blue Devils hosting the team in first place in the conference standings right now, the Virginia Cavaliers. Welcome to an ESPN Sonic Blockbuster. Hi, everybody, and welcome inside Cameron Indoor Stadium. Here we are up in our perch, actually a little bit lower than our normal perch here at Cameron. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, very glad you're with us. It's been a wild, fascinating day in college basketball. Lots to talk about, and lots to talk about, Jay, when it comes to Virginia. A very good defensive team, maybe not quite to their normal standards, but offensively they can really shoot the ball.
They score almost 70 points per game, which at the tempo Virginia plays is very efficient, and they can really shoot it. Their three-point attack really emanates from their front court rather than their back court. So Sam Hauser, Jay Huff, Trey Murphy, they've made 113 threes among that trio, shooting over 45% together, all of them over 44%. So you have got to stay with those guys and make Kihei Clark finish plays in the lane. Make him a one-on-one player so you don't give him drive and kick opportunities to those great bigger shooters.
As for Duke, they obviously don't have a tournament resume right now, but they've got opportunities going forward. If they win this game tonight, do they begin to creep into the conversation?
Huge step forward. It can't be the last step, but a huge step forward to beat a top 10 team, and they're going to do it behind the great play of Matthew Hurt. Over the last two games, Matthew Hurt averaging 23 points per game, shooting over 80%, 9 of 11 from three against both NC State and Wake Forest. He's got to continue to play well.
The officials tonight, Ted Valentine, A.J. Desai, and James Breeding. Virginia coming off a game you did, Jay, on a Monday night, a 21-point defeat against Florida State. Duke has won 2 in a row over NC State and Wake, as we are ready now for the tip of our Sonic Blockbuster, and it'll be the Blue Devils with the first possession of the night. And what a great matchup at the point. A talented freshman in Jeremy Roach, and then a terrific player, junior Kihei Clark, part of the national championship game, a team a couple of years ago, and having a very good season for the Hoos. Matthew Hurt for three, and speaking of matchups, as Hurt gets a friendly roll, how about Matthew Hurt and Sam Hauser going toe-to-toe?
Well, Sam Hauser right there to put pressure on that shot. A little bit late pressure out of that horn set with the throwback to Matthew Hurt. Now Hurt is going to have to chase around Hauser. He's been guarding a lot of 5 men, but now he's got to guard Hauser out on the perimeter.
Clark thought about the three, gets inside, can't get the shot off over the length of Mark Williams. Jay Huff, terrific center for Virginia, fifth-year senior, misses the baseline jumper.
Duke having to switch some screens and exchanges, and Mark Williams, about 7 feet, got onto Kihei Clark and kept his feet on the floor to make Clark finish over him. Then Jay Huff had to take a tough 2.
Roach looking inside for Williams, who's really been a factor for Duke the last couple of weeks, especially at the defensive end of the floor. Roach for three, got it, and a good start for the Blue Devils.
Well, Jeremy Roach has been playing much better. His last 2 games, he didn't shoot it quite as well. 0 of 4 from 3. In his prior 2 games, he was averaging 16 points a game over those 2.
Clark stops on a dime, losing his defender, and then gets a bounce to get Virginia on the board.
And that was a great play and a great shot by Kihei Clark, but those are extraordinarily difficult 2s. And if he can do that all game long, Duke wants to make him continue to do that, so the top 3 perimeter threats, they're big guys, don't get step-in 3s.
Shot clock inside 10. Stewart, the leading freshman scorer in the ACC this year, off to Wendell Moore Jr., who's been playing some really good basketball in recent weeks. Misses that one, and the rebound down to Huff.
Little step back. That was a difficult shot, and that's primarily what Virginia wants to make you do, is work for a shot and then have to take a tough one toward the end of the clock.
Hauser, the transfer from Marquette, senior, the leading scorer and rebounder for Virginia. Boy, Clark got caught in the air, was fortunate to find a teammate. Spinning is Huff, and he can't get it to go over Williams.
Boy, really nice job by Williams. He moved his feet and then put great pressure on that shot to make it really difficult for Huff to finish the play.
Roach, a good look. Rebound Hauser. Virginia, as is always the case, they play at a very deliberate pace. In fact, the slowest tempo in the country, but that does not mean they're not a good offensive team. They are.
And they can really operate toward the end of a clock. Little low cross screen, little on big to get Jay Huff into the post.
How about the left hand jump hook?
How improved is he from last year to this? He shoots 61% from the field. It's in the top 2 in the ACC. He's in the top 2 in field goal percentage and blocks.
Guy's gotten better every single year. Stewart guarded by a terrific defender in Reese Beekman, the freshman. Stewart stumbles.
Beekman does a very good job on the ball because he's long-armed, he's athletic, and can really move his feet. Kihei Clark is disruptive because he can get up underneath you. But Beekman gets a ton of steals and is an excellent perimeter defender.
The first 6 points of the night to Duke, the last 4 to Virginia. And we haven't had a whistle yet in this game, and we're almost 4 minutes in. Nice step in by Hauser to tie the game.
I'm not sure there's a player in the ACC that makes use of fakes better than Sam Hauser. His shot fake is believable because he makes so many shots, and his shot preparation is impeccable. Both he and Matthew Hurt just fantastic at that, being ready to shoot when they catch it.
And Roach called for the offensive foul. Kihei Clark stepping in. First whistle of the game, first media timeout of the game, and we're off to a good start here at Cameron with Virginia and Duke tied up at 6 here early in Durham. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by H&R Block. Their experts can do your taxes virtually. Get your taxes done without leaving home. And in part by the original and spicy extra long ultimate cheesesteaks, only at Sonic. Back at Duke, Virginia, and Duke tied up at 6. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis. Jalen Johnson earlier this week electing to forego the remainder of the season to, quote, prepare for the NBA draft. He will enter the draft. He is considered to be a lottery pick by most. Jay, your thoughts? Bit of a comparison here. James Wiseman last year. Now, Wiseman was under suspension at the time for Memphis when he declared. He only played 3 games, I think, for Memphis before declaring. Do you think that Johnson deciding to forego the remainder of the season will have any impact on how NBA teams look at him?
Well, it didn't have any impact with James Wiseman. He was taken number 2 overall, and oddly enough, we only have to go back a year to find an analog to the decision by Jalen Johnson, although Johnson's was made in a pandemic and consultation with his mother and father, and to make that decision. He's going to certainly have questions to answer to NBA people as to why he decided to do that and what it means. And there's that shot preparation that we're talking about by Sam Hauser, coming to the ball, and his hands are ready, his feet are ready. He is just a fantastic shooter. But to your question on Jalen Johnson, yes, those are legitimate questions as to why he decided to forego the remainder of the year.
All right, how about one question about how Johnson moving on impacts the Blue Devils on the court? We know Mark Williams has stepped into a larger role, and that goes back a few weeks now. Jamin Brakefield has picked up some more minutes as Virginia gets an easy one from Trey Murphy, the third outstanding transfer from Rice. How do you think Duke has adjusted and continues to adjust going forward without Jalen Johnson?
Well, they haven't had much time to adjust, but 4 games ago, Mark Williams was inserted into the lineup, and for the reason of providing more rim protection, and it also has Matthew Hurt playing more out on the perimeter and having more of a matchup that he doesn't have to bang with, maybe not pick up quite as many fouls as he did in some other games, because he got in foul trouble in some games, whether it was North Carolina, Louisville, games like that, where he's guarding bigger guys. Now he's got a fair fight with Sam Hauser.
And what a fight it is between 2 of the best shooters, not only in the conference, but in the country, as Hauser hits a turnaround.
And you're going to see, whether it's Sam Hauser or whether it's a big guy, whomever is being guarded by Matthew Hurt, they're going to go after him and make him defend.
Beekman to Murphy, and Virginia extends the lead. You don't see the Hoos in transition very often, but they took advantage of it there.
Well, Reese Beekman, we've talked about him in steals. He gets a ton of steals for Virginia. He leads the team in steals. But Trey, and he is shooting the ball so well. You talk about a player, Matthew Hurt, in an unbelievable rhythm. And he's one of those shooters, kind of like Larry Bird, where he doesn't get a lot of height on his jump shot, but he can give you a little subtle fake and put the ball on the deck. He is difficult to deal with because of that subtle shot fake and get you off balance. And then if you don't go for it, he can get into a shooting motion really quickly.
So in his last 2 games and then tonight as well, Matthew Hurt is now 18 for his last 21 and 11 of 13, Jay, from behind the arc.
Just a simple little pick and pop, and he's got a 7-footer on him with a hand up. And that was just good offense beating pretty decent defense.
Jordan Goldwire in off the bench, turns the corner and lays it in.
Yeah, Tony Bennett's not going to be happy about that, giving an easy path for a straight line drive where not even a pass had to be made before Duke is laying the ball in.
And we mentioned right off the top of the show, Virginia's still a very good defensive team, but we're used to seeing them first, second, third in the country in efficiency. They are 23rd this year, and again, that's really good. They're about 345 teams, but Virginia's actually a higher-rated team on KenPom, Jay. Offensively, they're 13th in offense and 23rd in defense.
Duke's switching everything right now with this lineup. They were switching 1 through 4. They actually switched a few times with Mark Williams in there, but nothing on the ball. But they were switching everything, and then Jay Huff just went right at Jamin Brakefield when he got the ball in the low post.
You know, usually you do a Virginia game, and it's always played at, quote, their pace. Does it feel like this one's at a quicker pace, or is it just that the ball keeps going in the basket?
It's a little bit quicker, but it is that the ball's just going in the basket. Both these teams are shooting extraordinarily well to start this game. It's fun to watch the ball go in the basket, isn't it?
It really is. You and I have been lucky. We've had some games up in the 80s recently.
So it's the announcer jinx, but you don't get any credit for the ball going in?
Well, we can take credit for it, can't we? I mean, if I give you credit, you give me credit. Who cares what anybody else thinks?
Boy, how about that shot by Jay Huff? What a terrific player he is. And there's a steal by Clark. He's so disruptive on the ball. Got away with a step there.
Tried to Euro step his way to the basket, missed the layup. Now Duke in transition. Got to keep an eye on Joey Baker beyond the arc. He puts it on the deck and turns it over to Murphy. Tries to wrestle it away from him, and then Murphy eventually wins the battle a second time.
You know, that's something Joey Baker's got to work on. His handle and passing needs to improve. That ball was taken away from him too easy. And Goldwire, another great steal.
Yeah, Kihei Clark and Jordan Goldwire, 2 of the very best in terms of being disruptive at the defensive end.
That's his 43rd steal on the year. He averages close to 2.5 steals per game. And he can get them on the ball or off. Shoot the gap, but he can also take it right out of your hands. That hit the backboard.
I think you're right. That should have been a goaltending call. Looked like it hit the glass.
It absolutely hit the glass.
Yep. And you saw Clark and Huff right away point up to the glass, but they don't get the call. Casey Morsell in off the bench, and maybe it'll work out just fine for Virginia because he's got a chance for 3. Again, a long stretch without a whistle. We're going to a timeout. Let's see. Glass block. That's a goaltend. But they got a bucket. They got a free throw coming. And we'll tell you more about Virginia and the incredible run that Tony Bennett has had in Charlottesville when we come back.
Ain't ending anytime soon either.
Welcome back as we take a look at tonight's Sonic Blockbuster, the most consecutive winning seasons in ACC play. Dean Smith, a record that will likely never be broken. Mike Krzyzewski with 2 different runs of at least a decade. Tony Bennett, Virginia, 10 consecutive winning years in ACC play, which includes 4 ACC regular season titles, 4-time ACC Coach of the Year, and oh, by the way, they're still the reigning or defending national champions. Right.
How about Dean Smith only having 1? It just lasted 33 years.
33 years, yeah.
Talk about a tad of a misleading stat.
Yeah, we tried to do a graphic on how Dean Smith did after a losing season, but we couldn't find that information. But Tony Bennett's numbers are ridiculous in ACC play. In the last 8 seasons, Jay, Tony Bennett's Cavaliers are 115-26 in conference games.
Yeah, and you talk about a coach and program uniquely well positioned to go forward. Really good pass underneath by Mark Williams. A great cut by Wendell Moore. Williams has just gotten better and better throughout the season, and his length is incredible. Arms go forever.
Virginia shooting 71%. Duke is shooting 67%. Morcell into the paint. And a couple of bounces off the rim down to Wendell Moore Jr.
Virginia does not send offensive rebounders to the glass. They want to get back and take away transition. They would rather take away transition than get an offensive rebound.
Boy, tough one by DJ Stewart. He was being well defended.
And the Cavaliers don't give up many offensive rebounds as well. They send all 5 guys, and the guards stick their nose in there and rebound too. Even Kihei Clark, they all go down there and rebound.
Now you look at Virginia numbers, they don't turn it over much, but they don't turn you over much. They don't foul much, but they don't get fouled all that much. They're just so incredibly solid at both ends of the floor.
Virginia going to its mover blocker offense. Mark Williams caught the ball, got caught underneath the rim, and wasn't really able to go up with. Kept his poise, and a terrific cut by Wendell Moore Jr. to essentially help bail him out. And Trey Murphy just wasn't as in tune with taking away that cut and gave up a layup. Here's that little horn set. 2 up top, 2 in the corners.
Moore and Murphy, another terrific matchup on the wing. Now switch with Hauser on Goldwire, and that means Hurt being guarded by a smaller defender in Morcell, and he just used too much left arm there, knocked him down, and is called for the charge.
Boy, that's where you just have a turnaround jumper over the top of a smaller defender.
Big Monday college hoops on ESPN. Right back here at Cameron. Syracuse, which had a huge comeback win over Notre Dame today. The Orange were down 20 in the second half and outscored the Irish 40-12 the rest of the way. They'll be here in Durham. And then at 9 o'clock, number 15 Texas Tech taking on Oklahoma State, and that means a guy who might be the first pick of the draft. You'll get a chance to see Cade Cunningham in the second game of the Big Monday doubleheader.
Cade Cunningham is ridiculously talented. 6'8", point guard, can shoot it, can deck it, and is so good at the end of games. He just has a maturity beyond his years.
And Mike Schmitz, ESPN draft analyst, gives him, and Cunningham really can play so many different positions. He's kind of a positionless talent, got great vision, big enough to shoot over people.
And he's been in study hall to bring up that grade in defensive IQ. He's a solid B+, but I think with some more study hall time, he can get that up to an A.
Yeah, his basketball GPA, trying to increase that as best he can. But the shot clock running down, Clark knocks down a 3.
Well, Kihei Clark, that's his 15th 3 on the season, only shoots 30% from 3. But not 1 ounce of panic or hurry toward the end of that clock. That was let go just before the 30-second buzzer. Boy, look how Virginia moves as the ball's in the air.
Roach, no, rebound knocked around. Hurt didn't see it, and it's Virginia ball. Clark, of course, he was kind of the understudy to guys like Ty Jerome, Kyle Guy on the national championship team. Had to carry a huge load last year. They were not a good offensive team last year, but with Huff's improvement, Murphy, Hauser, a much better offensive team this year, and Clark doesn't have to score as much as he did a year ago.
Another great steal on the ball by Jordan Goldwire, and what a pass. That's just a beautiful break. And offense generated from Jordan Goldwire's defense.
Yeah, clinic in transition right there. Brakefield the bucket, Roach the assist, and Goldwire the hockey assist.
Goldwire goes after the ball to steal it. He's not just slapping at it, hoping he gets it. He's got a great awareness for going after the ball.
Now, Jay, I'm not sure the officials needed to bring their whistles to tonight's game. It's unbelievable.
Wouldn't that be nice if that were the case most of the time?
Oh, I was wrong. Morcell will be at the line when we come back, but how about Duke turning defense into offense?
Well, Jordan Goldwire, a steals savant. Watch how he goes after that ball and knocks it away with his left hand and then takes the ball down. Just a beautiful pass and finish.
Well, Drew Timme, one of the best players in the country. Jay and I were doing the Gonzaga game against St. Mary's on Thursday night, and we were admiring his Fu Manchu, which unfortunately he's kind of let grow into a, he's got the beard going now too, but, we marveled at his mustache, and we were informed by Barrett Henderson, the SID of Gonzaga, that there is a Drew Timme's mustache Twitter feed called the Drew Manchu, which is awesome in its own right, and you have been officially challenged to grow a Fu Manchu if they win the national championship.
And I accepted the challenge, just like I did from Karnowski's beard. And they went to the championship game that year that I accepted that challenge. That was accepted out in Los Angeles. I remember it very well, and I accept this one. I love the what do we call it? The stash wipe after he scores.
Right. Yeah.
He wipes that mustache. It's hilarious.
He is one of the characters in the game, one of the best players in the game.
He does this.
That's right. Have you ever, you were a product of the 80s. Did you ever have just a mustache? At any point in your life, did you ever have just a mustache?
No, I've not.
But you would
And I'm sure America's riveted to my grooming habits. Well, we've got a game with both teams shooting over 60%. Right. Get our melons off the screen and let's move on.
Duke and Virginia with the Cavaliers leading by 3. Virginia in top spot in the conference standings with a record of 11-2. Duke is 7-6. And obviously, given their situation, as Jamin Brakefield lays it in, given their situation, they need wins, they need quality wins, and there's no better place to start than trying to knock off a team in top spot in your conference.
Well, Jamin Brakefield doing a really nice job. They set a little double screen up top. He rolled to the basket. Matthew Hurt popped, and Hurt had McCoy on him, and Huff was on Brakefield. He just drove that matchup.
Clark short on the 3, rebound down to Moore. Wendell Moore has 5 assists already in this game.
Well, he's played a lot of really good floor games, and he's the best leader on this Duke team.
Won't go down for Brakefield, and down with the rebound for Virginia. Justin McCoy, a sophomore from Cary, North Carolina. They've got a few North Carolina players on this Virginia team.
Well, both Murphy and Huff are from Durham. And Murphy's an NBA player. He is so good.
You and I were talking before. Could Huff be an NBA player? Could Hauser be an NBA player? How about Jamin Brakefield getting more minutes the last couple of games? 14, 16 minutes the last 2 games. He's kind of searching for minutes at times this year, but it looks like, Jay, he's going to have a bigger role going forward.
No question, because he can score. The lefty can shoot it. He played quite a bit early on, had some double-figure games. Then it went about a 5-game stretch where he hardly played at all. Now back in the rotation. But his scoring ability, he can stretch you and also put it on the deck. But this is where he's had some issues on the defensive end, staying in front of the ball.
Clark turns it over on the alley-oop attempt to Huff. Brakefield stepping into it, and what an impact he has had in this game, turning a deficit into a lead for the Blue Devils.
Well, Jamin Brakefield coming down as the trailer. Nobody picks him up. You're not going to get a more wide open look against Virginia, and Tony Bennett did not like it.
Jamin Brakefield, a freshman from Jackson, Mississippi, by way of Huntington Prep in West Virginia, has scored 9 points in 9 minutes off the bench tonight.
People are going to start calling him some sort of appliance, like a microwave or something that heats up quickly, because he has been instant offense in this one, and Tony Bennett needs some offense himself. Now Sam Hauser back into the ball game, and Wendell Moore's matched up with him right now.
Matthew Hurt playing at the 5 right now. No Mark Williams in the game for Duke.
Now Huff's got Goldwire switched off onto him.
Huff can shoot it. He'll pass it up, and they won't get a shot off.
They got Duke in rotation, but it was too late in the clock for Virginia to do anything about it. So thus far, Duke's switching has had a negative effect on Virginia at times. Obviously, both teams shooting a really good percentage.
We talked to Mike Krzyzewski yesterday via Zoom, and he feels his team is playing better. They are especially playing better at the defensive end. He thinks they're a better team than they were a couple of weeks ago, and he seems quite enthusiastic, Jay, about their prospects of continuing to improve in the next few weeks.
Yeah, they you remember they won back-to-back games. They beat Georgia Tech and Clemson. And a lot of us were saying it looks like they're turning a corner. Then they went down to Miami on Big Monday and got beat. And sort of the 2 steps forward they took a pretty big step back. And it seems like they've taken 2 significant steps forward with wins over NC State and Wake Forest. And now a significant challenge against Virginia at home.
They would clearly not be a tournament team right now. Worth mentioning, I guess, if you're a Duke fan, that Joe Lunardi had them in the next 4 out this morning. And then based on results today, things moved around and they dropped out of the next 4 out. But point being, if they were to win this game, do they start creeping onto the very edge of the at-large conversation?
Well, if they're in the next 4 out now, they would. And obviously a top 10 win. But it's not, boy, what a good shot. I mean, Jeremy Roach is having a really nice ball game. His passes, that pass he made, he's already knocked down a couple of threes. I mean, Duke is playing with a lot of confidence. Here's another switch, and now Roach is on Huff. You can just throw it up to him.
Boy, how good is Kihei Clark?
He's under control and obviously plays low. But he keeps his feet on the ground and fakes and gets the defense off balance, and then he could make a play. But I still think the thing to do is make him finish plays around the basket.
Roach with a backdoor cut, but he can't finish. Kihei Clark, a guy who was originally headed to UC Davis, had a big summer circuit, won the Peach Jam, and then decommitted from UC Davis. And about a month later, Tony Bennett started looking into it. We'll tell you that story more coming back, but he's turned into a terrific player for the Cavaliers.
Well, there are a number of terrific players in this ball game, and all of them have had a big impact, especially Jamin Brakefield coming off the bench. 9 points for Brakefield, 4 of 6 from the field. Is he a microwave? What's the newest appliance we can call him?
Guys, thank you. It absolutely was. That Carolina game, they beat Louisville by 45. Now, the Cardinals coming off a COVID pause, that has to be mentioned. But all the big guys for Carolina, especially Day'Ron Sharpe, had huge days. So Carolina now 8-5 in league standings. They're in 4th place in the ACC. We mentioned Syracuse was down 20 in the second half to Notre Dame. They came back and won. Buddy Boeheim had 29 in that big win for the Orange. Syracuse, Jay, like Duke, trying to get enough wins to really get into the at-large conversation.
Yeah, and they're right there as well. Buddy Boeheim having another really good game. He can really shoot it. He had some games early on in the season where he didn't knock shots down at his usual rate, but he can get hot in a hurry.
And game of the day, Kevin talked about it, might have been the West Virginia-Texas game. As you look at some of the ACC action today, we told you about Syracuse, Georgia Tech, over undermanned Miami. The Hurricanes just with so many injuries. Georgia Tech's an interesting, dangerous team. Got a terrific backcourt. DeVoe had 29 points today. Florida State won at Pitt, 79-72. Hurt from the corner knocks it down, and Matthew Hurt's got 4 threes already.
Yeah, he just came off a little baseline screen. They didn't quite get in a stopped alignment, but just basically a double stack, and he came to the corner and he caught it. He shot that as soon as he caught it. I mean, Huff was almost there.
How about Hauser with a shot fake and then a dunk?
Boy, both teams giving up 60% from the field. Remarkable offensive efficiency. I'm sure both coaches would say, well, their defense wasn't quite as good. And Dan, I've gotten probably 30 text messages about the newest appliance to be able to call Jamin Brakefield for his instant offense. Can't go microwave, that's too old. So they've called it air fryer. I've got a lot of air fryer.
Yeah.
Someone said kiln. I think that's pretty old.
Yeah, I'd go with air fryer.
Air fryer.
Yeah.
Also heard Instapot. I don't know what an Instapot is.
You know what? I think we should stick with air fryer.
Yeah, it sounds like you might get tested. So I would stay away from that one.
Yeah.
But air fryer, that's a good one.
DJ Stewart at the line for Duke. Hey, Super Tuesday on ESPN is a battle in the Big 12 and a good one. Kansas and Texas. Kansas with a win today at home over Texas Tech. And then we talked about that Texas-West Virginia game today. Boy, what a game that was. West Virginia winning by a couple. The Jayhawks back in the rankings, now 11-5 in league play. It was a nice win for them today over Texas Tech, and right now Joey Brackets has them as a 4 seed.
Yeah, they've tightened their defense up, and they've played at a much more consistent level at both ends of the floor. This isn't a vintage Kansas team, but they're still a good team and a top 25 team.
Boy, a challenge by Brakefield at the rim, and he denies Jay Huff, the 7-footer.
A lot of contact, but you got to play through that in this game. Tough matchup for Jay Huff, even though he is mobile. Tried to switch there, but both Morsell and Huff ran away from the ball, and Stewart had a wide open shot with nobody on him.
Goldwire tried to stay with Clark, now a switch.
Well, they could go 2 for 1, but does Virginia ever do that? They might go 1 for 2.
Yeah. And you know what? The patience pays off for him. They get a good look, and Sam Hauser still hasn't missed a shot in this game. Now 5 for 5, 12 points.
Well, anytime he sets a ball screen, he's going to pop. He's never going to roll. And pop to that 3-point line. And Sam Hauser's got a really quick trigger and just pops. You know, anytime you're going to help off, I don't think you even need to help there on Casey Morsell. You got to stay with Sam Hauser. That pick and pop action that is going back toward the sideline. You're trying to take away that middle drive. Your instinct says, you know, stay with the ball. The ball's most important, but not when Sam Hauser's involved. Sam Hauser's more important than the ball when Casey Morsell's got it.
And what a difference he has made at the offensive end for Virginia. Again, between him and Huff and Murphy, they've got a lot of different guys who could score, and they're not quite the same team, obviously, that they were a couple of years ago when they won the national championship, but they've got some weapons.
Yeah, they're still very good. And after they got beat pretty bad on Monday night, I just loved what Tony Bennett said in his press conference. You know, he came in after the game and said, "We are thankful for the lessons that adversity teaches us." You know, a lot of coaches would have gone in and said that was unacceptable and we're not tough enough, all that stuff. And he looks at it in a different way, and it just shows that even in defeat you can be positive going forward. I was really impressed by that, but that's who he is.
Yes.
And really an impressive coach in every way imaginable.
Florida State an 81-60 winner over Virginia on Monday, and boy, the Seminoles have it rolling right now. Leonard Hamilton's team now 9-2 in the ACC. Stewart gets the shot off over pressure, and a foul is called.
Yeah, Morsell just put his body into him as he was falling away, had his hands up, but if he had gone straight up, there would have been no problem. I just thought he went into him a bit.
Stewart coming off a terrific game against Wake on Wednesday. 16 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a 24-point win over the Demon Deacons. More great college hoops action comes your way Wednesday on the ACC Network. I love this Wednesday 4:30 game that's been on for the last several weeks. Clemson is taking on Wake, then NC State against the Hoos, and Florida State in Miami. An ACC Network ACC triple header. There's Virginia at the top, 11-2. Florida State 9-2. Duke trying to make a move. And again, after the win today, things are changing so quickly. After that win today, look at Carolina all of a sudden. Maybe not all of a sudden, but you know, Carolina's putting together a nice resume, a nice season, and Carolina's ceiling, to me, Jay, feels pretty high. Can they consistently get there? Who knows, but their ceiling's pretty high.
Well, their guards are getting better, getting older, and getting more experience.
And a very entertaining first half comes to a close with both teams shooting the ball extremely well, and Duke leading Virginia by 3 at the half.
Send it back to a George Foreman grill, Seth Greenberg.
Kevin, all yours. Good luck. Welcome back to Saturday Primetime, presented by H&R Block. This is an ESPN Sonic blockbuster. We thought Matthew Hurt and Sam Hauser might have a little shootout, and it certainly worked out that way in the first half. But then again, a lot of guys on both sides are shooting the ball well so far in this game as we welcome you back up to our perch here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. The second half of this game between Duke and Virginia. Dan Shulman, Jay Billis, Duke leading by 3. Jay, pretty fun first 20 minutes of action.
Right, saw a lot of made shots, and it's really been the difference. Duke has done it from the three-point line. They made 7 threes, and Virginia had 7 turnovers in the first half, and that kept them from getting shots up where they're shooting 60%. And most of their shots have been twos, tough twos. Duke has done a pretty good job of guarding the three-point line. It's hard to say, either team's done a great job defensively when they're giving up 60% from the field. But those 7 turnovers, Virginia only averages 9 turnovers a game. They had 7 in that first half. That's significant.
Ready now for the start of the second half of our Sonic blockbuster, with the Blue Devils looking for a signature win, quality win, big win, whatever phrase you want to use. And they are up 3 on a top 10 team in Virginia. Look at Huff stepping in and follows up his own miss.
Boy, how about that? I'm not sure whether you would call that a Euro step or what. It was a slow step, but deliberate to the basket, and he was quick to clean up that miss.
Roach turns it over and then has to foul Hauser.
Yeah, Roach turning it over just on a hard hedge by Hauser. He just ran right into it. Dribbled it away, but a terrific shot fake and then a kind of a Euro step, but he couldn't really complete it, but just very quick with that second jump going after it. Well, he has improved so much, not only one of the most improved players in the ACC, but in the country, and now the officials looking to see if it was a flagrant, whether Roach grabbed Hauser and it wasn't necessarily a basketball play, but it was unnecessary. And when you grab somebody going the other way,
you got a case there. There's no play on the ball.
And a classic tackle, though, head up.
Yeah. That's right.
Keeping him from the first down.
This is the kind of foul that used to be called, we would call this an intentional foul, but that has come out of the game, and flagrant 1 now covers those as well, but clearly they decided it's not. Tony Bennett was the one who was asking for it, but they have decided just to leave it as a common foul.
Yeah, that's overall that's probably the right call. You might want to see the rules committee take a look at a similar call they have in the NBA about a breakaway foul.
Clear path, yeah. Clear path foul, yeah. With the ball for Virginia, Trey Murphy III. We mentioned a transfer from Rice. And he is from Durham, and he was friends with Justin McCoy from Cary, North Carolina. McCoy helped to recruit Murphy when Murphy announced he was going to transfer. Great little touch pass from Hauser into Huff, and the Hoos are back on top.
Spectacular awareness by Sam Hauser. He just tipped that ball to himself and then turned and found the open man. Just a great play by Sam Hauser. That's got to be a foul. That's got to be a foul. One said all ball. The other official said it was a foul. Now watch Hauser here. It was a terrific job by Huff to tap it back, but that could have gone the other way for Duke. But Hauser saved perhaps a layup for Duke on that tap back. And the original tap back from Huff led to his basket at the end of it.
Reese Beekman called for the foul for Virginia, and at the line is DJ Stewart. As Jamin Brakefield, who was terrific off the bench in the first half, comes in here early in the second half for Mark Williams.
So good, he's got a new nickname. I think we settled on air fryer because he heats up quickly, that kind of thing.
And it's very current and trendy. And
number of candidates. Yep. Barbecue pit was one of them because it stays hot. Here's the lick of, I don't like Instapot. That sounds like something Walton would do from a dispensary.
Clark with a scoop, it won't go down. Obviously a busy night in the truck for people building graphics like this.
What a dunk by Huff. Two-handed. not really in traffic, but there was traffic in the area. That was a great play.
Jay, when you first saw him a few years ago, and again, he's a fifth-year senior, and sometimes it takes big guys longer to develop, but did you ever think Jay Huff would develop into this good of a player?
Another discriminatory comment about big guys that we develop slower.
Matthew Hurt with a chance for three.
Boy, I think Hauser's got a complaint there about the foul, because Matthew Hurt, that was a big-time move by Hurt, an NBA move. He went right into his chest to knock him back and dislodge. Watch this move by Hurt. Sets the screen, he'll go right into the post here, and then he'll not really face up, but he goes right into, see how he bumps him back? There was not much of a foul there, but a great play by Hurt.
Hurt now with 15 points to lead all scores. Huff's got 14. Hauser's got a dozen for Virginia.
We've seen some high-level shot making in this game.
Yep. Both teams shooting about 58% from the floor. Nice move by Huff, but it won't go down, and it's Duke ball.
Huff was going against Brakefield. And Brakefield, all he can really do there, if he can't push him off the lane before the catch, is just make him shoot over you. Make him take a tough two and make him make the shot without fouling him. And that's exactly what Brakefield did.
Jay, how about the game Wendell Moore's having? He's really the primary facilitator tonight for Duke. He's got 6 assists in the game.
Jeremy Roach he was in the corner, and that was a set out of a horn set for him to post up Kihei Clark, and Clark stayed on top of him. And there was good pressure on the ball so that Duke couldn't see into him. And Tony Bennett has said, you got to put pressure on the ball. We can't let the opposing team go window shopping.
Hauser gets it off quickly before anybody got out on him.
This is like a video game.
It's fun. You know, we should have mentioned, too, that Virginia is shorthanded. Thomas Wolde-Tensai is not here with the team due to contact tracing, and he's a very good shooter off the bench. They've also got a couple of players who are back from illness. They're available, but they're just not playing all that much right now in Shedrick and Statman. So Tony Bennett's team's a little bit shorthanded right now, but as you pointed out to me a little bit earlier, at the pace at which they play, probably less of a factor for them than for most teams.
Yeah, and they don't foul very much, so it's not like they're going to have foul difficulties. But how about that shot by Matthew Hurt on the last possession? Little jab step, just got a little bit of room. And look, I know it's blasphemy to say bird-like, but it was bird-like. He's not Larry Bird, I'm not saying that, but watch this little jab and watch him get into that shot quickly, and it was contested. But because he's 6'8", and has such a quick release, I mean, that's just beautiful. And Hauser's been doing it to Duke on the other end. It's a walk.
Huff called for the travel. Look at the shooting numbers for Matthew Hurt. He is 14 for 17 from three-point range in his last 3 games.
That's good in warm-ups.
Yes.
You know, unguarded, if you shot that, people would be saying, well, that's fantastic.
And he came into the game shooting 46% from 3 on the season. Moore with a strong drive, and Huff, who's a terrific shot blocker, got him. Jay Huff is 4th all-time on Virginia's shot blocking list and probably will wind up 2nd.
Nice job coming from behind, and then Murphy doing a good job not fouling Moore. Just making him finish and giving Huff the chance to block it. You don't think Huff can get all the way to number 1? I mean, if he had a 120 block game, he could catch Ralph Sampson.
Ralph Sampson has more blocks than the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th guys combined on the Virginia career list.
Great play by Murphy.
Wow. He is talented. 6'9", can shoot, long, good defender. I think Ralph Sampson's face.
Yeah, but it wasn't that.
So, yeah.
It wasn't that long ago. It's got to be black and white. He had color photos back then. Matthew Brady wasn't taking his picture.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Sonic, the ultimate drink stop. Ralph blocked a couple of your shots back in the day, didn't he?
More than a couple. Like 50.
Here we go.
And the slam.
Big time.
Yeah, Champ Week is coming. The ACC tournament will be in Greensboro, North Carolina, and a lot of teams will be vying to improve their situation. Right now, Joe Lunardi has 6 ACC teams in. Virginia, the highest seed at 3. Carolina, one of the last 4 in. That is before, I believe, their 99-54 win over Louisville today. Duke not in the picture right now, but a win tonight, if they can get it, over Virginia would, as we mentioned, perhaps at least get them into the conversation. And their schedule is backloaded, which means they've got some opportunities. They've got Syracuse and Louisville at home, and then they go on the road to Georgia Tech and North Carolina.
Good job by Duke to stay home on shooters on that penetration by Casey Morsell. A lot of times when the ball penetrates into the middle, you'll see the defense contract, and they say drive, draw, and kick. Well, that was drive, but there was no draw because nobody collapsed on the ball. And that made Casey Morsell. He's got to finish that and make it a tough 2. So Duke's defense is going according to plan.
Yep.
And they're in a tie ball game as a result.
Hauser, a little bit strong. Mike Krzyzewski told us yesterday his team is playing hard, his team is playing together. But to beat Virginia, you have to play smart as well. You need that third component. And what you're talking about defensively, make them make tough 2s, don't help off too much, and give the big guys those open 3s.
Yeah, hard, smart, together, all that stuff. Well is good too. Yeah, you have to play well, and they're certainly playing very well in the offensive end. Brakefield trying to post up against McCoy. And Hurt's got to get that ball even off the lane.
Goldwire with a corner 3, short. Rebound Hauser.
That ball's got to go to Hurt. You know, you had a 2-man game there. You'd rather have Hurt touch the ball than Goldwire take that corner 3.
Clark tries to reverse, swatted away by Brakefield. Clark just 5'9", but as Virginia turns it over, a little miscommunication there, and for Virginia, that is their 9th turnover of the game.
And that is their average on the season, among the best in the country at taking care of the ball.
Shooting percentages coming down a little bit here in the second half, although both teams still over 50 on the night. Brakefield with 9 points off the bench in the first half. Now Stewart has it blocked by Morsell.
Boy, what a play, and what a play to keep it alive. Well, you don't see Kihei Clark make that kind of mistake very often.
Stewart for 3.
Now, Virginia dodged one there because that's the kind of turnover that can lead to your defense not being set and giving up that kind of open 3. Duke just missed it, and that was a low percentage pass in transition for Kihei Clark. He does not usually make those.
Morsell with a 15-footer that goes down and puts Virginia back on top.
Well, that is a tough 2, but he's got a good middle game and a good pull-up game. He's 2 of 12 from the field in his last 5 games, but Casey Morsell took that shot with a lot of confidence.
The sophomore from Fort Washington, Maryland. Hurt misses the 3, and the rebound down to Justin McCoy.
Now, Hurt missed that, but Sam Hauser was right there on that shot. That was good pressure to bother that shot. You're not going to block his shot from there, but you want to bother it.
Hauser now with a Moore on him.
That's an offensive foul.
No, I think it's going on Moore.
Oh, they said he was in the cylinder, but I wonder if they look at that. If they look at that to see if that was a basketball. If your arms are more out than up, or then that's going to be that could be a flagrant.
And Ted Valentine's coming over to take a look at it. He's on the phone already, and he was signaling to Mike Krzyzewski, I'm going to go look at it.
But if you're in the cylinder, unless it was like one of these intent things, I can't see them change because he called it immediately in the cylinder that the foul was on Wendell Moore. That was a really interesting way to look at it because that wasn't my interpretation of it. That he was in the cylinder. It was a rip through where I thought that was offensive right away, but interesting.
And I think they're sticking with the original call, foul on Moore for being in the cylinder.
Yeah, because once you're in the cylinder, unless you got something that was egregious. I can't imagine them changing that. Now he's explaining it to Mike Krzyzewski and demonstrating it too. I don't know. It seems like it violates the 6 feet protocols there. Not sure that's necessary.
So the foul on Moore and a Virginia ball. Morcell with a pull-up. And you talked about the mid-range game. He's knocked down a couple.
Yeah, some people say the mid-range game is dead. It's not. If that's your shot, take it. And that's Casey Morcell's shot.
I think you're obligated to say, Jay, the lost art of the mid-range
The
game.
lost art of passing to the post. The lost art of everything's a lost art.
Henry Coleman, whose name we happen to mention. He's only played a few seconds here and there, but he gets Duke back within 2.
The lost art of offensive rebound.
Bunch of lead changes in this game. Duke coming off a win at Wake Wednesday night, and they're right back at it Monday against Syracuse, so they've got 3 games in 6 nights.
Mike Krzyzewski disputing that call is not going to change, but Virginia has to keep moving. They need to continue to get good movement from all 5 players on the floor.
Remaining regular season schedule for the Blue Devils: 9-8 on the season, 7-6 in league play. Syracuse coming to town. Big Monday, 7 Eastern on ESPN.
Here's the switch. Goldwire on Hauser. That's a tough shot. Yeah. That's not what you want there.
Roach, little stop and go, lays it in with a left hand to tie the game.
Boy, just great recognition. He saw that he had Jay Huff trying to stop the ball and just blew right past him. Nobody picked him up. It was a mature play by Jeremy Roach.
Good hands by Moore. Morcell can't get it to go. Loose ball down to Goldwire.
Well, he got bumped as he was going to the basket. He had won a path to the basket.
Now Huff on Goldwire. Goldwire wants to get it to Hurt, but they can't make it work, so it'll be Moore. Well, that felt like a missed opportunity on that trip for Duke, and now
Morcell took one of the chops from Moore.
And Coleman is down as well. We have a player shaken up for each team. Well, let's see what we can see with 11:10 to go here in the second half of a tie game. There's the shot onto Morcell. Coleman shaken up as well in a different play. Well, watch this. We have 2 plays to show you. Watch Wendell Moore with the left arm right there, kind of a forearm or elbow, I guess, under the right eye of Casey Morcell. Now watch Jay Huff with the left elbow there into the chin of Henry Coleman. The officials, we believe, took a look at both, and no fouls were assessed on either play, and Morcell cut, so he's getting worked on. He has come out of the game, at least for the moment. Henry Coleman's still in the game for Duke.
Incidental contact, and we play on. But the shooting has cooled off in this second half.
Yeah, it was 39-36 at halftime for Duke, and it's 49 all now, better than 9 minutes into the second half. Clark crosses over, all kinds of fakes, but he doesn't get it off in time. Second shot clock violation tonight on Virginia, and their 11th turnover.
And that's part of the plan. And it was part of the plan for Florida State. You know, that's really what you have to do, is make Kihei Clark finish plays in the lane. Make him take tough twos, stay with shooters. Now, Sam Hauser probably should have shot that ball when he got it into the post.
Hauser with 15 for Virginia, Hurt with 18 for Duke. They are guarding one another as they have most of the night. Hurt for 3.
And all these shots are contested. I mean, Sam Hauser is doing a really nice job of getting pressure on that shot. And a couple of them for Matthew Hurt have been in and out. You're expecting him to go in, but not much has gone in the second half. Duke shooting under 30%. Virginia 43%. That's about as easy as it gets.
Wow. Hauser into Huff for the reverse slam.
A two-man game with the big guys. And Hauser is the ball handler. More of a traditional lineup for Virginia to be able to guard. Well, there's a switch. Now you got Murphy on Huff. Or on Hurt, excuse me. Murphy on Hurt.
Roach. And Huff got a finger on it. Coleman right at the rim to lay it in.
Lorenzo Charles.
Yes, very much so. Tied again. 6 ties, 5 lead changes in this game.
There's a switch, and Clark gives it up. You got a good job getting it to Huff.
Hurt over to help Goldwire, and a foul.
Huff very, very poised when he caught it. A lot of big guys would travel when that double came over, and he didn't. Hauser getting the ball screen from Huff, draws 2 to the ball. Nobody rotates over. How about that dunk? That's pretty impressive by Jay Huff.
Very much so.
I wonder if his beard has a Twitter account.
Huff coming off an 18-point, 12-rebound effort last week against Carolina.
A good job by Virginia. Not a very good pass, but for the turnover on the inbounds, trying to get a lob to Huff, and still they get back and stop the ball without numbers. That was pretty impressive for the transition defense of the Cavaliers.
Clark to Beekman, short on the 3.
And that's a 3 that Duke doesn't mind giving up. Reese Beekman shooting about 30% from 3. He's only hit 8 of them on the season.
And a timeout called with 8:32 to go here in Durham, North Carolina. Virginia and Duke all tied up at 51.
Junior lightweight champ Miguel Burchelt and Oscar Valdez. They're fighting after UVA Duke. Burchelt says he's going to knock out the undefeated Valdez. Touted with fight of the year type hype, Valdez is telling everyone he'll have no regrets. That history-rich famed WBC green belt is on the line. Burchelt Valdez live from Vegas is coming up.
Top-ranked boxing from Vegas coming up. Burchelt 38-1 with 34 knockouts. Valdez 28-0 with 22 knockouts. Something's got to give.
Who's your favorite junior lightweight of all time?
Alexis Arguello.
We had this discussion. Alexis Arguello is my favorite. When he used to fight Aaron Pryor, those were the days, man. And then he also fought Alfredo Escalera, who used to come into the ring with a snake around his neck, which is the way I'm going to start entering games.
With that and the Fu Manchu, you're really going to have something going.
I'm telling you.
Yep. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Virginia and Duke tied at 51. Not anymore. Sam Hauser.
Sam Hauser just coming off a little screen. They had 2 screens on the block. It was essentially a floppy set. And he was turning as the ball was getting there. Like, his shot preparation is just so good.
And they scored that at 2. They're going to look at it, I believe, during the under 8 media timeout from the signal I saw from the official. So it's 53-51 Cavaliers. Brakefield called for the travel to take us to the under 8 media timeout in a game that has been close all night long. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by H&R Block. Their experts can do your taxes virtually. Get your taxes done without leaving home.
Was that a Lionel Richie reference all night long?
Wow. They are something else. Here, a much closer one. 2-point lead, Virginia. 7:36 to go in the second half.
Duke doing some switching. Great cut.
Couple of extra passes. They still can't get a shot off. Now it's Hauser guarded by Hurt again.
Hurt started on Morcell, had to switch off.
Everything but the finish for Casey Morcell.
But Wendell Moore made him finish it with the left hand.
Roach the kick. Breakfield for three. Great boxing out there and an easy rebound coming down to the Cavs.
Well, all 5 guys for Virginia continue to rebound. Duke's not had many offensive rebound opportunities in this one.
And overall, Virginia +8 on the glass. Kihei Clark with a pump of the fist and heading to the line as well.
Boy, what an impressive drive and finish with the left hand, absorbing the contact by the little guard from California. And, before the Florida State game on Monday, we were talking to Leonard Hamilton, and he had said he's like Leroy Brown. He thinks he's the baddest man in the whole damn town, and said Kihei Clark is like 5'8", and he thinks he's 6'8".
Yeah.
He was marveling at what a competitor, and with the utmost respect at what a competitor Kihei Clark is.
We started to tell the story in the first half. He was headed to UC Davis, and then on the summer circuit won the Peach Jam, was named the most outstanding player, decommitted from UC Davis. The coach there was Jim Less, who was friends with Tony Bennett. So Tony Bennett was there actually looking at James Akinjo, scouting James Akinjo, and he kept saying, who's that feisty, pesky, tough little guy there? And when Kihei Clark decommitted, Tony Bennett said, I waited a few weeks, and then I called Jim Less. And I said, listen, give it to me straight. Do you have a chance to get him? And Jim said, I don't think so. And Tony said, is he as good as I think he is? And Jim Les said, yeah, he can play for you. And then Tony Bennett reached out, and almost immediately Kihei Clark accepted the offer.
Well, he had some pretty good success with the California point guard with London Parentes.
Yes. Jordan Goldwire called for the foul.
But Clark came in right away to Virginia and was such an asset on the defensive end. You could put him in the game, and he could hold his own defensively and really change the tempo of the game. I remember seeing him play his freshman year at Maryland, and he did such a good job defensively in that game against the Terps, and Maryland was so good that year, and you could see, hey, Virginia is good enough to get to a Final Four with this team. He was outstanding.
Shot clock running down. Hauser turns it over. Here comes Goldwire. Duke's got numbers. Stewart for three. Count it!
Boy, what a big-time pass and big-time play by Jordan Goldwire in transition to find the corner shooter. And then Stewart with a defender flying at him, just poised and completing it.
And tied yet again. Clark up top to Huff.
Beautifully done. Just a middle ball screen, and you're thinking that Kihei Clark, is he gonna shoot that? It's almost Kentucky does that as well as anybody over the years, is on a drive just throwing it up to the rim, and there's so little you can do. If you don't stay home, you're going to give up that dunk.
Boy, there's not much you can do at all when Hurt decides to make that move because of his length fading away. He makes it look easy sometimes.
Yeah, his accuracy on a turnaround jumper, even a fadeaway turnaround jumper, where for most guys you'd say, not the best shot. That's a good shot for him. And that's why I said earlier in the game when he wound up passing out of the post, same thing with Sam Hauser. Take that thing.
Matthew Hurt's got 20 to lead all scores.
Goldwire switches off onto Hauser. He can shoot over him.
He does. Huff and Hurt battle for it. It's Virginia ball.
Matthew Hurt has a high release point on that shot, and he's every bit of 6'9". And so he does a good job of taking Hauser into the lane, getting him going middle, and then turning away from it where it's difficult for Hauser to recover and really bother that shot.
Wow. Wendell Moore is down after running into a Jay Huff screen.
He tried to blow up that handoff to go through it. And Coach K not happy about it. You can see James Breeding going over to tell him what happened. Clearly the officials thought it was incidental contact. But this dribble handoff, he's trying to blow it up and go in between. And Jay Huff was set there.
Yep. He didn't slide.
He didn't do anything.
Yep. And that's what James Breeding was motioning to Mike Krzyzewski. And it looks like, unfortunately for Moore, his jaw or the side of his face caught the shoulder of Huff.
And then on the drive, there was a foul. 2 hands on the ball handler by Brakefield. That's why the whistle. You heard the whistle because of the foul, not just because there was a player down.
And Moore very slowly making his way toward the Duke bench.
And just because the contact is severe doesn't mean it can't still be deemed what they call incidental contact. And, Jay Huff was set on that dribble handoff. And, they call that blowing it up. When you try to get in between on a dribble handoff, he tried to blow that up and wound up running into Huff. And that was you hope that that Moore is okay, because that was a violent collision.
One more look, reaching in, and side of the head right into the left shoulder of Huff.
Now, sometimes the referees will call that if they think you leaned in, something like that. But because he was trying to shoot into the middle of it, that's probably why they deemed it incidental contact and a no call.
And Hauser at the line after the foul called on Jamin Brakefield. And he knocks down a pair.
And Virginia only 3 team fouls. And that gives them the opportunity to be aggressive toward the end of the game without putting Duke on the foul line. Duke is, Virginia's in the bonus. Every common foul, they're shooting free throws.
Pull up at the free throw line is pure for Roach, and they're tied again.
Boy, what a tight cut off that screening action. That was really well done by Jeremy Roach. He is having a terrific ball game.
4 minutes to go, tied at 60.
Virginia got a switch, but then switched back.
Murphy quiet in the second half, trying to shake Stewart. Finds Clark in the corner for 3.
Well, he just hits the big ones, doesn't he? Like, he only shoots 30% from 3. 14 made threes coming into this game. I think he's hit 2 of them in this game, and both big.
15 points, 3 steals tonight for Kihei Clark.
He's just been excellent.
Hurt. And he knocks it down. A long 2 to get Duke back within a point. Timeout, Mike Krzyzewski.
Didn't Sam Hauser do that to Duke from the exact same spot?
Yep.
Little pick and pop going to the wing. Turnabout is fair play for Matthew Hurt.
What a fun game this has been. Virginia and Duke going back and forth. Huff up top for the Cavaliers. Hurt with the answer for the Blue Devils. It's a 1-point game. All right, Kevin, thank you. 1-point lead for Virginia over Duke with 3:25 to go. And a big Monday comes your way 48 hours from now. Right back here at Cameron. The Syracuse Orange off a big win over Notre Dame today. Big comeback win in the second half. Buddy Boeheim with 29 for the Orange. They'll be here in Durham in the 7 o'clock game and at 9 o'clock Eastern, Texas Tech against Cade Cunningham and Oklahoma State. A terrific doubleheader. And look who's back in the game. Wendell Moore Jr. feeling better and back on the court for the Blue Devils.
And keep an eye on those fouls. That the 3 team fouls on Virginia gives them the ability to be aggressive defensively without putting Duke on the free throw line.
Jeremy Roach playing with 4 for Duke. He's the only player in the game for either side with 4 fouls.
Got a switch now. Goldwire on Huff.
Immediate double by Hurt and a foul. Goldwire. 1-1 for Huff.
And Huff, a good free throw shooter, shoots just under 80% from the line.
Well, last year when Virginia played Duke, they beat them by 2 in Charlottesville. Huff had 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 10 blocks in that game. He's got 18 points, 8 rebounds, and a couple of blocks here tonight.
Yeah, that 10 block performance was remarkable. for a big guy to get one rebound away from a triple-double with blocked shots. You just don't, you rarely, if ever, see that. That's a Ralph Sampson type deal.
How about this? The only Division I player shooting 60, 40, 75.
Well, how about Trey Murphy, his teammate?
Yeah.
53% from the field, 48 from three, 90 from the foul line. I mean, this is an efficient front court with Trey Murphy, Jay Huff, Sam Hauser. Those guys drill it from 2, 3, and from the line.
Yeah, Virginia as a team shooting almost 79% from the free throw line. Huff doing a good job staying in front of Brakefield.
Now, you don't want a foul, but I would not give Huff a 3. Or Hurt, excuse me. Got a lot of H's.
Yes. Stewart with a tough one from the baseline.
Boy, is he a good player. You know, he's the leading freshman scorer in the ACC, over 13 a game. Has had 8 straight double-figure games. He's just a multi-dimensional scorer. I mean, that's a really good shot fake to get a good defender, Morcell, off the floor and still makes that little short corner shot, which is not an easy mid-range shot.
And we had a delay of game warning on Duke after the basket. And now in unison they slap the floor going back on defense. Haven't seen that much recently. Clark gets a switch, Brakefield on him. Clark the drive, blocked by Brakefield. And the Blue Devils with a chance to take the lead again.
Boy, what a big play by Brakefield on the defensive end. Not fouling Clark, forcing him to finish that tough two and wiping it away.
Virginia with a win, trying to keep Florida State at bay for top spot of the ACC standings. Duke looking for a signature win over a quality opponent, and they've got the lead after the bucket by Brakefield.
Handoff action on the wing, and instead of handing it off, Brakefield kept it with the right-hand drive. Remember, he's a lefty, and gets right around Huff. Huff thought he was going to hand it off, and wound up fouling him, as Brakefield used the rim to try to protect it from the blocked shot. What a beautiful finish. And remember, he's left-handed. Well, how about that smile at the bench? That's quite a facial expression, isn't it?
They're having a little bit more fun right now than they've had at times this season, although Brakefield misses the free throw. Virginia down one with the ball inside 2 minutes to go here at Cameron.
Boy, what a game this has been.
And again, if you're Duke and you have any hopes of getting an at-large, getting a win here tonight would be an important first step. A lot of work to do. In and out for Morcell. Tap back out, but Huff over the back.
Well, and you could say that was a risk worth taking. It's the 5th team foul, so you don't shoot free throws for it. Just a tough shot from Morcell. Like that is a, what was that, about 15 feet?
At least, yeah, maybe
pull
a
up
little further.
Jumper
Yeah.
with somebody in your face. That's a very difficult, high risk shot for not a ton of reward.
Hurt guarded by Hauser. Goldwire finds Roach. 7 on the shot clock. For 3. And the rebound down to Huff. And Virginia's going to walk it up the court as we go into the final minute of regulation.
Give credit there to Sam Hauser for sticking with Matthew Hurt, and then Kihei Clark did a great job of staying in front and forcing that difficult shot. Duke switching just about every exchange here.
Yeah, there are so many different guys on this Virginia team who could take this shot. Clark finds Hauser off balance from the corner, not there. Huff the rebound.
Just couldn't get, he had Goldwire, had to block him out and couldn't get it done.
10 to shoot. Hauser, Goldwire on him.
That's a walk.
That's what the Duke bench is saying. 2 on the shot clock. Clark. Loose ball to the Blue Devils. No, it bounces free. It will be a held ball, and the possession arrow belongs to Duke.
Okay, here's the scrum, trying to get the ball. Marcel trying to get a timeout called. Here's the walk. I mean, that's changing your pivot feet. That's an egregious miss, but Duke winds up getting the ball back. And here's where the foul situation is a little bit more difficult for Virginia, because if they don't get a steal right away and they foul, they go right back to the same out-of-bounds position.
Yeah, they've got one to give, so the next foul would not send Duke to the line. 11.5 seconds to go, and it is Duke ball. Well, if Duke goes on to get what could be a very important win, they'll look back on the big night that Matthew Hurt has had, Jay, is a big reason why.
Well, he's had 3 big nights in a row. He's had a very good year, but he came into this average 23 over his last 2, shooting 80% from the floor, 9 of 11 from 3. And in this one, he's got 22, 8 of 13 from the floor, 5 of 8 from 3. Little jab step, and then knocking the 3 over Jay Huff, and then coming off the screen down low, setting his feet and drilling it from the corner. You've seen a full package of shots, turnaround jumpers, threes, in the post, facing up, coming off screens. That is quite a portfolio of offense. Then the pick and pop. Jay Huff trying to get out. Just the last 3 games been completely on fire. 24, 22, 22. And look at those shooting percentages, and just fantastic as well from 3-point range.
So Duke ball with 11.5 seconds to go. 1 foul to give for Virginia. And more to inbound it for the Blue Devils.
Virginia's going to go for a steal without fear of fouling. Well, they're fouling right away. That just gives it you a second opportunity to inbound it, and then you go to the free throw line. But you want to try to steal the ball here. You know, they're going to keep everybody in front, make sure that you can't go deep, go long. But there's no reason not, if you're going to foul, go after the ball.
Hurt to inbound. Into Stewart, the immediate foul, and DJ Stewart, an 86% free throw shooter. That is the best on Duke, jogging down to the line.
Now, even with 2 made free throws here, if Stewart is able to knock him down, it remains a 1-possession game. And the question is, do you foul?
Stewart, as you can see, or as you saw moments ago, actually has missed a couple of free throws in this game, 4 for 6. Doesn't get it. Huff the rebound. 8 seconds to go. Virginia down 1. Clark loses it, gets it back, has to put it up. And that will not count. Duke will win. The Blue Devils take down Virginia 66-65 in by far the biggest win of the season to date for Duke.
No question. This was a huge win for Duke. Tony Bennett head down a little bit in disappointment. The ball mishandled. A great opportunity to try to get to the rim here. But Jordan Goldwire, then Matthew Hurt switching off, and then just a mishandling of the ball. Now you're trying to shoot over a guy 6'9", and Kihei Clark just couldn't get it all the way to the basket. But Duke with just a very important win heading down the stretch to give them a chance as they go toward the ACC tournament.
And Monday night, they'll be right back here to take on Syracuse. Virginia's now lost 2 in a row. They are 11-3 in league play. The Blue Devils beat the Cavaliers 66-65 in a fun game here in Durham tonight. For Jay Billis and our crew, I'm Dan Shulman. Thank you so much for watching. Time now to send you out to Las Vegas for some top-ranked boxing.